Freedom Radio Hour. Live on Capital Radio 91.6 FM.
All right. Welcome, everybody, to another edition of the Freedom Radio Hour. I'm your co-host, DJ Adam Cruz, and I have my fantastic co-host here, Eddie Nicholas.
What up? Capital Radio 91.6 FM on the FM dial. What up, Adam Cruz? What is up for today?
Wow, there is so much happening in the music business right now in terms of news that I want to jump right into it. You remember I was posting the other day a quote that I will repeat on the air. The quote was, "Music is art. Art has real value, and artists deserve to be paid for it." End quote.
Hallelujah. Okay.
Yes. So as it turned out, it's our dear Miss Taylor Swift put that out there for
folks to know.
What is
it with you with this Taylor Swift?
Because
I guess I got to listen to some of her music.
I'm not even, you know what, to be honest with you, I'm not crazy about the album. I'm not a fan like that. I love the Shake It Off song. That's her big hit off that album. I'm more interested and obsessed with what she's doing in the market right now.
Well, let's get on to that. What is Miss Taylor Swift doing?
Okay, so as you recall,
management, excuse me.
Well, yes, it's a three-pronged thing. So it's her management, and her label, Big Machine Records. Okay, so quick summary from last week. Taylor Swift, turns out that she saved the IRAA. She has moved now globally nearly 3 million copies. So she's nearly triple platinum at this point when you incorporate the rest of the world's sales. But Taylor, in doing so, also managed to pull her album 1989 from Spotify, which is a streaming service. Spotify is like Pandora. It's just like RDO. It's just like YouTube, a place where you can listen to music and discover music for free and for pay. Okay? So what Spotify, of course, feeling very salty over the fact that not only did Big Machine Records, Taylor Swift's label, pull the album, but they also pulled all of her previous works from the service in the name of I think really fighting this idea, that this fact that as artists we are paid a fraction of a penny per stream on these streaming services. And like I mentioned last week, Eddie, it's not just Spotify. Spotify's in the news now, but there are lots of streaming services like I've just mentioned, and we have to include places like SoundCloud. You know, you can listen to a lot of music for absolutely for free. Okay, so I wanted to talk about Spotify's official rebuttal to Taylor Swift, because you know they had to say something.
Of course.
So
how dare she?
Exactly. So they wanted to talk about that quote that I mentioned that I started the program with tonight. They said, you know what, Taylor Swift, you're absolutely right. Artists do deserve to be paid for it. We started Spotify to be able to combat piracy and to bring music to music lovers. Okay, they're saying that they started in 2008, and from then they have paid over $2 billion
to who?
To three main people. Those are labels, publishers, and collecting societies. Those are the ASCAP, BMI, CSAC, and we talked about Sound Exchange. Those are those individuals. So they're saying they paid $2 billion to them for distribution to songwriters and recording artists, you and I. Okay? They said that was $1 billion from the time we started Spotify in 2008 to last year, and another $1 billion since then. So in other words, they're telling us there's growth there.
Well, if they're shelling out $1 billion, how much damn money did they? How much money did they take? They had to take in another $2 or $3 billion themselves to be able to shell out $1 billion.
Right.
Who is it?
Well, we have to do the math, because remember, they were also quoted as saying that they pay 70% of their earnings to labels. So we have to just simply do the math. If that's right, they're saying that they're taking the 30% that they garner, they're able to profit from that handsomely enough to keep surviving. You know, it all seems a little bit suspicious. You know, we want to believe that there are organizations and services out there that have the artist's interest in mind.
In mind, yes.
But you start to dig deeper, and you start to understand the power of ad-supported programs. So what Spotify did is, let me be clear. Spotify really broke it down, and I think it's important for us to talk about it because they're representative of YouTube and RDO and SoundCloud on the other, streaming services. What they're saying is, for a long time, the history of streaming was that it fell into two business models. It either fell into all free or all paid. So it was never put together, meaning that the user, if you sign up for something, you never had a free experience and a pay experience. It was mutually exclusive. So when Spotify came around, they're like, okay, we understand that there's some things happening. When an artist has their music played on the radio one time, the artist is really not seeing any money. But if we can get them paid X amount of, if they could hear enough plays, even for free, we could support that with ads and then pay out. So they devised a real strong letter for Taylor Swift and her company, and they broke down 3 main myths. When we come back on the Freedom Radio Hour, we're going to break that down and more. And we also want to talk about YouTube and what they're trying to do right now, right here on the Freedom Radio Hour.
Capital Radio 91.6 FM, the heartbeat of Sudan.
Freedom Radio Hour. Live on Capital Radio 91.6 FM.
And we're back here at the Freedom Radio Hour. I'm your host, DJ Adam Cruz, and I have my fantastic co-host here,
Eddie Nicholas, and welcome back to Capital Radio 91.6 FM, the heartbeat of Sudan. Boom, 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 boom. Adam, let's get back to what we were talking about before with this Spotify and streaming services.
Yes, there was this official rebuttal from Spotify to Taylor Swift after she pulled her albums from the service, or her label, Big Machine Records. Okay, so Spotify, in explaining themselves, they were like, first of all, Taylor, had you been messing with us for the first week of sales, you would have garnered $6 million. And now you don't get that because you're not down with us. So they're saying boo on you for that. But they're saying, going back to their models, remember how they were given a detailed description about the history of streaming services. It either fell into one of two categories. The company was either all pay or all free. And so when Spotify came around, they realized that there needed something to be done around that. So they devised a plan to incorporate the two ideas, free and pay. And what they developed, a model was called freemium. Let me say that correctly.
I just love it.
I know, they get so creative. When somebody in the boardroom is like, I know, freemium.
Let's drop the P and put it all together and spell freemium. I love it.
Yes, so I know, freemium at the Freedom Radio Hour. Can you imagine? No, but they devised a model called freemium, and it basically really attracted the free user. So you were allowed to come and listen to music for free on their service, but it was supported by ads. And what I mean by that, it's just like YouTube. So if you go on YouTube right now and you watch a video, chances are you got to listen through a commercial, watch a commercial, or hit skip ad after 5 seconds or something. That's all making money when that happens and when you're sitting through it. And so what Spotify did is, for their free members, okay, so you had to sit through some ads, but you got access to the free music. And what they noticed, they said, was that over time, those users were getting the rhythm and creating a habit of listening to the music using their service, that eventually they end up buying into the service. On average, they're saying their users that are converting are paying roughly $120 a year to have access to this music.
Basically commercial free, whatever.
Yeah, so they do, and by virtue of you becoming premium, you have no more ads. You can enjoy the music at your leisure, and I'm sure you have unlimited access. Okay, so that for them sparked interest, because they said, doing this freemium thing, you got them in the door for free, and then they got into the habit of being into it, and then so they decided to pay. And so we had this conversion thing that started to happen, and that is why we were able to pay this $2 billion out to the labels, publishers, and collecting agencies. Okay, so they're saying we want to talk about the myths, because we hear a lot of talk about streaming services and Spotify in general. They said myth number one. Myth number one for them is free music for fans means artists don't get paid. So on Spotify, nothing could be further from the truth, they said. Like I'm explaining, they were talking about how it's all ad supported, and that they said we're paying out to those individuals anyway, even though it's free. So we're going to break down myth 1, 2, and 3 when we come back here at the Freedom Radio Hour.
Capital Radio 91.6 FM.
Yes.
Freedom Radio Hour.
Welcome back, Capital Radio 91.6 FM, the heartbeat of Sudan. I'm your host, Eddie Nicholas, and I'm here with my co-partner in crime, Mr.
Adam Cruz. We're here live on Capital Radio. We want to give you music, business news, and trends from around the world.
Yes.
And what we're talking about here are the myths that Spotify and their rebuttal to Taylor Swift's company, Big Machine Records, is talking about. Myth number one was free music for fans means artists don't get paid. They're saying that's not true because it's ad-supported, even though on the free level, we're paying out artists, which has never been done before. Myth number two is that Spotify pays, but it pays so little per play, nobody could ever earn a living from it. They're saying, first of all, let's be clear about what a single stream or listen is. It's one person playing one song one time. So people throw around a lot of stream counts that seem big and then tell you that they're associated with payouts that sound small. But let's break it down. So they're saying basically if you're heard one time on the radio to a base of even modestly of like 500,000 people, that doesn't really pay you anything. It's zero. But on Spotify, you're paid something for that. And they say that has never been done before. And they keep doing that, and that's what's starting to increase the payouts to the labels and such. Myth number three is that Spotify hurts sales, both download and physical. So that's a classic correlation without causation. People see that downloads are down and streaming is up, so they assume that the latter is causing the former. Except the whole correlation falls apart when you realize a simple fact. Downloads are dropping just as quickly in markets where Spotify doesn't exist. So in other words, they're saying, how do you account for the fact that when we aren't present, it's still dwindling? That's not our fault at that point. So anyway, I wanted to switch the word Spotify to streaming services because I think YouTube and all of them are
Pandora.
They're all about the same, you know. But YouTube, not to be discounted, you know that they earlier this year put out a report that they paid $1 billion out to artists and more, you know. And I found it to be a crazy kind of talk, you know, that there's all this money out there that's not getting to the hands of the creative people that are making the music to begin with, you know. And YouTube is starting under Google, their company, they're starting YouTube Music Key. And what that basically is a kind of Spotify. So they want a piece of this pie too. You know, so back to your point, Eddie, what are they making that they can pay out so much to labels, publishers, and collection agencies?
And be viable. When you talk about that type of money being paid out.
That's right. And also they're sparking other businesses to start. So why would YouTube Music Key start if the money wasn't there to be made?
Exactly.
Anyway, so thank you guys so much for listening right here at the Freedom Radio Hour.
Smell corruption.
I do too. We're going to talk about it next time. We're going to talk about what are the dots that we're not connecting here in streaming services. And we're going to talk more business, music news, and trends from around the world. I'm your host, Adam Cruz. Thank you for listening.
And I'm Eddie Nicholas. Thank you for joining us at Capital Radio 91.6 FM, the Heartbeat of Sudan. Boom, 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 boom. Peace.